Déjà vu is not a memory, it's a temporal seizure. The cup tips before you touch it. Your heart jumps because you know, absolutely know. The barista will laugh, the door will chime, and a siren will pass outside. Then the laugh lands, the chime rings, and the siren wails like a line you've already read. For a split second, reality feels rigged. Get this, your brain isn't recalling a memory. It's mislabeling time. A temporal sequencing glitch, sometimes a micro-seizure in the temporal lobe, stamps old on what's new. In the next minutes, the misfire, the three faces, the panic trap, the reset, and red flags. One ignored detail predicts where the panic snowballs. Rewinding to the moment it breaks. You're in a coffee shop you've never visited. Steam lifts off the espresso machine. A spoon clinks, your phone buzzes. Nothing dramatic, until that snap. It's not a thought, it's a stamp. Your chest tightens. You feel pulled to prove it. Your eyes start hunting for the next beat you remember. Your prediction urge spikes. And your heartbeat answers. Faster, louder now. This moment matters, because your safety system takes its cues from consistency. When the world mislabels itself, your threat circuits light up. Not because a danger appears, but because uncertainty does. Ambiguity feels like losing the rails of the present. Control slips, even if nothing around you changes. To understand why it happens, we need the brain's timestamp system. Two fast partners normally keep your experience straight. One handles the quick, fuzzy sense that something feels known. The other supplies the details of when and where it was known. When they work in sync, familiar and remembered line up, and your mind moves on without a ripple. Here's where it breaks. The fast known signal fires first and loud, while the slower remembered system doesn't deliver a matching scene. Your brain hates that mismatch. It solves the conflict by inferring a story. I've lived this before. Then it tries to prove itself right. That's when your eyes grab for the next moment, and your body gears up like you're stepping into a moving stream you've already crossed. A micro-story. You lean to pick up your cup and feel certainty wash over you. The barista will ask, oat or whole? You brace for it. When he says exactly that, the floor tilts. You swear you can feel arrows pointing through time. Next, the sleeve slips. Next, a couple near the window stands. You hold your breath. The sleeve slips. They stand. The relief is tiny and brutal at the same time. You think, see? I knew it. Then the panic widens because if you knew it, what else is already written? That urge, to predict the exact next beat, is gasoline. It turns a momentary mislabel into a spiraling proof loop. The more you anticipate, the more each match feels like evidence. The more evidence, the more your body surges. Meanwhile, your time perception speeds up. Milliseconds stretch. A normal glance contains more frames. That extra granularity makes scenes feel storyboard, which feeds the loop again. Why does panic start for some and not others? Intensity, duration, and confidence. If the familiarity signal is mild and fades within a few seconds, your brain chalks it up to noise. But when the sensation is strong, stretches past half a minute, and carries high subjective certainty, I know what happens next. Your appraisal changes. You don't just notice a glitch, you judge it. You assign meaning, a sign, a warning, a loss of agency. That meaning fuels fear. There's another layer. When you can't anchor new versus old, depersonalization can creep in. The room looks the same, but tags feel unreliable, so you feel slightly outside yourself, like you're watching a live feed with a half-second delay. That distance is protective, but it also unnerves you. You check harder, faces, light, hum of the grinder, seeking one stable hook. Ironically, the checking inflates the sensation that something is off. Let's be clear, not all Déjà experiences sit on the same shelf. Some are everyday anomalies, fleeting, harmless, and more frequent when you're tired, stressed, or overstimulated. Others cluster, stretch longer, and come bundled with bodily cues. A rise in the stomach, a metallic tang, a wave of heat, brief narrowing of awareness. Those patterns push the experience toward a clinical window we'll explore shortly. Before we go there, reset expectations. You're not broken. Your brain is resolving a conflict between two useful systems that usually help you stay oriented. The quick familiarity circuit prevents you from relearning your keys every day. The detailed recollection circuit lets you place those keys in last night's jacket. A small timing skew can make the present feel out of order. That's unsettling, not catastrophic. One more micro scene. The door opens. A draft of cold air folds into the smell of coffee. Your mind whispers, blue scarf next. You catch yourself leaning forward, waiting to confirm it. That lean is the moment to watch. It's the hinge. Leaning into prediction links your identity to the glitch's script. Describing the present, what is not what will be, breaks the link. We'll build a protocol for that, but hold the move in mind. What nobody tells you at first is that the panic doesn't come from the sensation alone. It comes from trying to resolve it too fast. You demand certainty before your slower system can weigh in. You overrule the natural lag with a hard verdict. This is fate, or this is danger. That verdict recruits your body. Your heart obeys. Your breath shortens. The room edges sharpen. And still, you can choose a different sequence. Spot the mislabel. Name it precisely. Let the slower system catch up while your hands do something small and concrete. When that happens, the floor relevels. The scene becomes just a scene again. To understand the mechanics behind that mislabel, and why, when it intensifies, clinicians start asking different questions, we need to zoom into the brain's timestamp system itself. The fast familiarity signal and the slower recollection engine, where they live, how they sync, and what happens when they don't. The brain's timestamp system, familiarity versus recollection. To understand that hinge we flagged, the lean into prediction, we need the two clocks that keep you oriented. One is quick and fuzzy, the other is slower and rich. Together, they stamp experience with known and known from where. When they sync, life feels continuous. When they don't, the present gets misfiled as the past. Start with familiarity. It's a fast yes/no pulse. Have I encountered this pattern before? That signal rides the pararhinal cortex and neighboring rhinal regions in the medial temporal lobe. It doesn't care about birthdays, addresses, or who was there. It's a vibe detector built for speed. Your brain evolved it so you could recognize food, faces, and threats without rerunning a full documentary every time. Now recollection. That's the hippocampus and its looped conversations with cortex. It's slower because it rebuilds context. Where, when, with whom, in what sequence. It pulls scenes back together from fragments, sights, sounds, smells, stored across the brain. When recollection lands, you can place a memory on the map of your life. It's the difference between, I know this face, and I met her at the Tuesday seminar in March. Here's the usual dance. Pararhinal fires first, familiar. The hippocampus checks. Do we have an episode that fits? If yes, you get a crisp recall. Oh, right, that cafe from last summer. If no, the system tags the input as new but similar and moves on. You don't notice any of this because timing differences are tiny, tens to hundreds of milliseconds. The glitch is a desync. Familiarity goes loud, and the hippocampus doesn't supply a matching episode quickly enough. Your interpreter, the part of you that insists on coherent stories, hates unresolved signals, so it patches the gap with an inference. If it feels known that strongly, I must have lived it. That's déjà vu. Not a memory retrieved, but a mismatch explained on the fly. Think two clocks in one building. One runs a hair fast, the other a hair slow. If the fire alarm is tied to the fast clock, it can trigger before the slower one updates the schedule. People rush out, then realize no smoke. In the brain, the alarm is the familiarity spike. The update is recollection catching up. Most days, the clocks drift with intolerance. On certain days, fatigue, stress, overstimulation, or random variance, the drift widens and alarms misfire. Clinicians learn this pattern the hard way. In people with temporal lobe epilepsy, stimulating the rhinal cortex with implanted electrodes can provoke intense déjà sensations, far more reliably than stimulating the hippocampus, reported by intracranial stimulation studies from epilepsy centers in the 1990s, 2000s. That doesn't mean the hippocampus is off duty. It means that familiarity machinery can drive the feeling even when recollection is intact, or temporarily outpaced. The point for you: the sensation can be generated by the known module alone. Meanwhile, your decision-making regions in frontal cortex have to call the play. Do we treat this as a memory or as a perception glitch? Under stress, frontal control narrows. You default to certainty, pick a lane quickly. That bias is useful when you're facing a real threat. It's unhelpful when the threat is an internal timing error. The speed of your certainty becomes the fuel. And there's a kicker. When familiarity goes up but recollection stays blank, your metacognition, your sense of knowing what you know, enters conflict. You're aware you shouldn't feel this sure, yet you do. That conflict is aversive by itself. The body responds: elevated heart rate, shallow breathing, a readiness to resolve the mismatch. Under load, metacognitive monitoring can flip from helpful to hazardous. Scrutinizing your own thoughts increases their strangeness, which your threat system misreads as signal. That readiness is what you felt in the coffee shop as a tug toward prediction. So why does the barista's exact phrasing feel like proof? Pattern completion. The hippocampus is a master at filling gaps when cues rhyme with past patterns. Slightly similar lighting, cadence, scent, or layout can let it autofill the next frame, whether or not it's the same place. Your internal storyboard gets a boost from tiny overlaps you don't consciously register. The more you attend to the script, the more features you harvest that seem to match. Flip perspectives for a second. From the brain's point of view, déjà vu is a sane solution to an imperfect signal. It's trying to reconcile a loud familiarity vote with a missing episode. The solution, declare prior experience, is wrong in content, but reasonable in form. That's why arguing with the feeling rarely helps. It's not a belief you can debate. It's a label that arrived pre-verbal. What helps is giving the slower system time to land and offering it fresh detail. Novel detail nudges recollection to either assemble a real source or to affirm, no match, this is new. That's why grounding in specific sensory facts, the scratch in the table, the exact date, the unique sticker on the espresso machine, can loosen the feeling. You're feeding evidence to the part that arbitrates. Where did this come from? One more human beat. People high in anxiety or sleep-deprived report stronger familiarity bursts and weaker confidence in recollection. Not because they're broken, but because both states bias the system towards speed over detail. Less sleep impairs hippocampal consolidation and slows retrieval. Anxiety primes fast alarms. Put those together, and the clocks drift just enough to produce more mislabels. Clinical and cognitive studies converge here. Sleep restriction inflates false familiarity, and arousal pushes the system toward gist over detail. Conditions under which déjà labels are more likely to misfire. Meanwhile, something else is happening in the background. Each time you choose prediction, you convince the interpreter that a story exists to be retrieved. Each time you choose description, what is right now, you let both clocks resync. We'll use that leverage soon. First, we need to see how, when the familiarity spike becomes a wave and brings bodily auras along, clinicians start thinking about a different window entirely. The temporal lobe seizure window, TLE. While that coffee shop glitch is resolving in most people within seconds, there's a neighboring lane where the feeling arrives with passengers. Clinicians call it an aura, early activity in the temporal lobe that can precede a focal seizure. It doesn't look like movie seizures. No convulsions, no collapse. It's internal and vivid. A strong déjà vécu, a rising wave in the stomach, a metallic taste, heat up the chest, sound and time bending for half a minute. As far back as 1888, neurologist John Huglings Jackson described a dreamy state with experiential familiarity and visceral waves in temporal lobe epilepsy, an early clinical window into what many now report. Get specific. People describe a fast elevator feeling starting under the ribs, a copper or battery taste, a smell like hot dust or singed toast, a sudden tunnel of attention, language going grainy, faces feeling paper thin, and time thickening. Frames stutter, then resume. Sometimes the mouth makes tiny chewing motions, a hand rubs a seam, eyes fix. Awareness narrows, then it lifts. Memory for the minute can be Swiss cheesed. Microseizure is a useful phrase here. Brief, focal bursts of synchronized firing in temporal networks, often mesial structures. The hippocampus, amygdala, and the rhinal cortices that carry familiarity. In lab settings with implanted electrodes, stimulating the rhinal cortex can evoke intense déjà sensations more reliably than hippocampal stimulation. That tells you why the known signal can feel so authoritative. It's not a fantasy, it's a circuit being driven. Patterns matter. Clinicians watch three things: frequency, duration, and awareness. Frequency spikes, several episodes clustering over days or weeks. Raise eyebrows. Duration pushing past 30 to 60 seconds with a slow build and clear bodily accompaniments moves it toward a clinical picture. Impaired awareness, blank look, pause mid-sentence, later patchy recall, signals an event that isn't just a curiosity. There's also the company it keeps. Auras can come as déjà vécu coupled with rising nausea, fear without a target, a metallic tang, a warmth spreading from the epigastrium, distortions in sound, voices suddenly far away, or microautomatism. Lip smacks, finger rubbing, shirt picking. Friends might notice you checking out for 20 seconds. You might come back with the sense that something passed through, like weather. Case series and stimulation reports from epilepsy centers, e.g., Rhinal/mesial temporal stimulation producing Déjà sensations, support why the known signal can feel authoritative when these features cluster. Why does this threshold matter? Safety and assessment. Most fleeting Déjà experiences are benign. But if episodes are longer, frequent, or paired with impaired awareness, it's not about willpower or meaning. It's about evaluating an excitable patch of cortex. Not because catastrophe is looming, but because targeted treatment can lower risk of losing awareness at a stove, on a bike, in traffic, and restore confidence. Myth-busting is important here. Déjà vu alone does not equal epilepsy. Lots of healthy people experience Déjà episodes, especially under sleep debt, stress, or overstimulation. The difference is pattern. In temporal lobe epilepsy, Déjà sensations are often stronger, more embodied, and embedded among other auras or seizures. Survey data suggest Déjà reports are markedly more common in temporal lobe epilepsy. Around 1 in 5 patients is almost equal to 19.6%, than in generalized epilepsies is almost equal to 3%, though methods vary across studies. Even then, context drives decisions. Neurologists have documented Déjà-like auras arising outside the classic mesial temporal focus, so localization isn't one-to-one either. Think of thresholds, not labels. Under threshold, brief, rare, fully aware, no bodily wave, resolves in under 20 seconds, no clustering. Over threshold, frequent clusters, episodes stretching past a minute, clear autonomic signs, awareness narrowed, post-event fatigue or headache, and witnesses noting pauses. That's when clinicians consider EEG, sometimes ambulatory, recording to catch events, and imaging to look for structural hints. Many people with these patterns respond well to medication that calms hyperexcitable circuits. Some need none. Monitoring and lifestyle shifts stabilize things. A few pursue surgical or device options after careful mapping. For reference, Déjà-like auras are reported substantially more often in temporal lobe epilepsy cohorts than in generalized epilepsies, a pattern echoed in intracranial mapping studies. There's a human microstory woven through this. A barista, steady, precise, starts having minute-long spells. Déjà hits hard, stomach lifts, a wash of heat, a metallic edge, words turn cotton. Co-workers notice a freeze with subtle lip movements. He shrugs it off as stress until episodes cluster. Neurology visits, EEG catches temporal spikes, MRI is clean. A low-dose medication and consistent sleep cut the episodes to nearly zero. His relief isn't mystical, it's practical. He can steam milk again without bracing for a wave. Literary history even echoes this pattern. Fyodor Dostoevsky, who lived with temporal lobe epilepsy, wrote about intense aura-like states of heightened clarity and familiarity that preceded events, proof that these internal storms have been narrated from the inside. Meanwhile, for many of you, naming the aura window is already calming. It separates harmless glitches from patterns worth a look. It also stops the spiritual trap from swallowing a clinical issue or turning a benign blip into an omen. If your experience lives on the benign side, you still get tools. If it drifts toward the clinical side, you get a path, not a verdict. Here's the bridge back to our story. The misfire we traced, familiarity outrunning recollection, sits on the same circuitry that, when pushed harder and longer, produces auras. Same street, different traffic. That's why your body's add-ons matter. They're not drama, they're data. In a moment, we'll map how Déjà splits into 3 faces that feel different because they're tilted toward different subsystems. Knowing which one you meet helps you decide whether to breathe, to reset, or to call a neurologist. The 3 faces, Déjà vécu, Déjà senti, Déjà visité. While that same street carries different traffic, the experiences don't all feel the same. They split into 3 recognizable faces, each leaning on a slightly different subsystem. Naming them isn't academic. It tells you which lever to pull when it happens, and whether to just breathe, to run the reset, or to log it for a medical look. Start with Déjà vécu, already lived. This is the full narrative click. It doesn't just feel familiar, it feels scripted. There's a strong urge to predict, a certainty the next beats are pre-written, and often a compulsion to test the script. People talk about time flattening into a path they've walked before, as if their current self is catching up to a track laid down by a previous pass. It's the most likely to carry bodily signs. The rising elevator in the stomach, the heat through the chest, a metallic buzz at the tongue, language going grainy. Clinicians hear this version more often around temporal lobe auras because it appears to recruit not just the pararhinal familiarity spike, but also limbic salience, the amygdala saying, "This matters," alongside hippocampal pattern completion. That stew turns a fleeting known into a felt narrative that begs for a prediction test. What to do when it's vécu? You reduce prediction pressure. Don't try to prove or disprove the script. Swap prediction for description. Out loud if you can. Red mug. 2 notes from the grinder. Jacket zipper halfway. It's not a mantra. It's a way to feed the recollection system clean inputs and let the clocks resync. Keep an eye on duration and awareness. If episodes stretch past a minute, cluster, or come with awareness narrowing and post-episode fog, that's data for a log and, if repeated, a reason to get a medical perspective. Then there's Déjà senti, already felt. No story, no place, just emotion. It's like stumbling into an echo of a mood, an uncanny lift of awe, a twinge of bittersweet, a hollow of dread that seems familiar without source. It often comes and goes quickly, like a bubble rising and popping. People describe it as a recognizable internal weather pattern with no scene attached. This leans more on the emotional tagging system, amygdala and orbitofrontal circuits, coupled with pararhinal familiarity, but without the hippocampus assembling an episode. In temporal lobe auras, early neurologists called some of these reminiscence feelings, an intense, self-contained wave of effect that doesn't anchor to a memory. Outside clinical contexts, it shows up when you're sleep-deprived, overstimulated, or listening to music that rhymes with your past. It can feel spooky because it hijacks meaning without context. What helps in senti? Label the feeling precisely and localize it in the body. This is a familiar sadness echo. It's in my throat and chest. Then add a present tether. One verifiable fact about the scene and one physical anchor. Texture, temperature, weight. Senti wants to recruit stories. You deny it that runway by making it a bodily event in a specific now. Most senti episodes are short and harmless. If they begin to stack with other auras, rising gut, metallic taste, attention tunneling, treat the cluster as a pattern worth tracking. Finally, déjà visite, already visited. This one is about place. You step onto a street in a city you've never visited and immediately feel you could turn left, then right, then find a staircase to a courtyard you know. It's not a film reel of events. It's a spatial map that feels preloaded. The hippocampus does spatial mapping with help from entorhinal grid cells. When a current layout rhymes with stored geometric patterns, angles, corridor widths, light shafts, the system can propose a path that feels remembered. Visite can be peaceful or disorienting. It's the gentlest of the three in terms of panic risk, because it invites exploration rather than prediction tests. Still, if you start treating it like fate, I was meant to be here, you can drift into the spiritual trap we'll address later. How to handle visite. Treat it like a map hypothesis. Test it with low stakes. Walk the turn you know, then deliberately choose a novel path. Note 3 spatial details that are undeniably new: tile pattern, sign typography, the way sound bounces in a stairwell. This both respects your brain's excellent pattern completion and recalibrates it by adding novelty. If visite only occurs in specific architectural rhymes, similar hotels, malls, transit hubs, consider sensory hygiene. Vary routes, lighting, and pacing to reduce overlap. So how do you self-categorize in the moment? Use 3 quick questions. 1. Is this about a story, an emotion, or a place? If you're narrating next events with high confidence, you're likely in vécu. If it's a free-floating mood echo with no scene, it's senti. If it's a spatial certainty that you could navigate, you're in visite. 2. How strong is my urge to predict? Strong urges point toward vécu and higher panic risk. Set prediction aside immediately. 3. What's the body doing? Rising stomach, metallic taste, heat, or awareness narrowing push the moment toward a clinical window. Log it and watch duration. Why do these categories help? Because each one suggests different levers. vécu, lower certainty, describe, anchor, avoid tests. Senti, label the effect, ground in sensory now, let it pass without a story. Visite, treat it as a map guess, sprinkle novelty, enjoy curiosity without destiny. And across all 3, intensity, duration, and confidence remain your gauges. High confidence is the hidden accelerant. When you catch it inflating, you've found the hinge where a glitch can either pass or spiral. Panic mechanics, from glitch to spiral. While those 3 faces give you handles, the spiral starts somewhere smaller, ambiguity. The The coffee shop snap drops a question mark into your stream. Is this old or new? Your threat system hates unanswered questions. So you scan. You don't think you're scanning, but your eyes hop to mouths, hands, doors, clocks. You are, in effect, running a confirmation search. The problem, the search is biased. You're not looking for what's new. You're looking for what matches your sudden certainty. At the same time, metacognition, the system that monitors what you know and how sure you are, starts flagging a conflict. I shouldn't feel this sure, yet I do. That self-monitoring is useful in measured doses, but under stress it becomes a magnifying glass on noise. The more you scrutinize your own certainty, the more alien your thoughts feel, and the more threat your body infers from the mismatch. That's the first gear of the spiral, hypervigilance. Attention narrows and sticks to any cue that could validate the script. A phrase lands with the same cadence as your memory. It counts as proof. A door chime rings within the window you expected. Proof. Meanwhile, disconfirming details slide past. The different logo on the cup, the wrong jacket color, the plant that wasn't in your memory. Your brain weights matches more heavily than mismatches. That's confirmation hunting. Second gear, agency illusions. Once you start predicting micro-events, you edge into believing you're driving them. You think the sleeve slips, and then it does. The human brain is a timing machine. It loves to claim credit when intention precedes outcome by a beat. In Déjà, vécu, intention is just prediction wearing a badge. The coincidence is enough for your interpreter to whisper, "I did that." With agency inflated, a neutral scene feels charged. Stakes rise. Third gear, threat inflation. The feeling isn't danger, but it becomes dangerous if it means, "I'm losing control of reality." That meaning recruits body chemistry. Adrenaline surges. Heart rate climbs. Pupils widen. Time perception accelerates. A faster internal timing stream, shaped by arousal systems interacting with cerebellar and cortical timing networks, slices experience into more frames per second, so continuity looks segmented. Segmentation makes sequences feel pre-plotted, which feeds the illusion that you're stepping into a storyboard that already exists. The loop tightens. There's a body loop inside that loop. Adrenaline sharpens sensory gain. Sounds get crisp, edges glow, muscles ready. That state feels familiar from real threats. Your brain pairs the déjà label with a threat body. Together, they sell the story that something big is happening, even when nothing in the room has changed. You're not wrong to take your body seriously. You're wrong about the source. Then comes the meta layer, epistemic discomfort. You know you don't have a memory, yet you feel you do. That conflict is aversive, so you grab the fastest relief, certainty. Any certainty will do. Fate works. Warning works. I'm glitching works if it's delivered like a verdict. The trouble is, quick certainty shuts down the slower system that could resolve the mismatch. You lock the doors on the very process that would calm you. Add depersonalization and derealization to the stack. If reality's tags feel unreliable, your mind steps back a notch to protect itself. You feel slightly outside your own action, or the room looks flat, unreal, like a stage set. That distance is a shield, less contact, less pain, but it also confirms your fear. This isn't normal. You check harder. You examine your own thoughts, as if they were foreign. Self-monitoring increases noise. Noise worsens mismatch. Another turn of the screw. Here's a 20-second human beat. A student in finals week gets déjà vécu in a library aisle. She predicts the cough, the dropped binder, the librarian's sure. They land. Her skin prickles. She freezes, then tests a bigger prediction. Her phone will buzz with her mother's name. When it does, she starts shaking. Later, she can't remember what she was studying on that page. What mattered wasn't the phone. It was the escalation from micro-predictions to meaning. If the universe is queued up, I'm not steering. So how do you stop the spiral midspin? Interrupt the inference chain at the hinge, the prediction urge. The second you notice your mind leaning into next, switch to what? Describe 3 concrete, verifiable present facts. Not opinions, not meanings. Yellow highlighter cap on the desk. Page number 214. Left shoe squeaks. That move is boring on purpose. Boredom starves the limbic system of drama. While you talk facts, your slower system catches up. Familiarity loses its lead. Next, flip the bias from confirmation to disconfirmation. Hunt for what's new. Set yourself a 10-second task. Find 3 details that could not have been part of any prior scene. The fly in the light fixture, the exact. Chip on the mug handle. Today's date on the newspaper. Each new detail is a small veto on the old label. 3 vetoes is usually enough to drop arousal a notch. Don't forget the body loop. You can't outthink adrenaline with thoughts alone. Give your hands a job that signals safety. A cold surface, a textured edge, a weight to squeeze. Slow exhale for 6 seconds, repeat 3 times. Long exhales nudge your vagus nerve, tilting your autonomic set point toward calm. As arousal falls, time perception smooths. Fewer slices, fewer storyboard illusions. Watch a subtle trap, reassurance rituals. If you always call a friend, always check a mirror, always replay your steps, you're teaching your brain that Déjà requires rescue. The ritual becomes the condition for relief. Instead, vary your interrupt. Sometimes description, sometimes tactile anchor, sometimes a short walk with 3 new sights. You're training flexibility, not dependence. Finally, the overlooked accelerant, confidence inflation. The feeling says, I know. Treat that phrase like a red light. Swap it for, I feel strongly that. That tiny linguistic downgrade creates room for uncertainty without panic. In that room, the spiral can't find traction. Moments later, the clocks resync, and the scene goes back to being just a scene. The 90-second reset protocol, actionable. You already felt the hinge, the lean into prediction. This protocol snaps you back without arguing with the feeling. It's short, repeatable, and designed to resync the 2 clocks while dropping adrenaline a notch. Do it at the first wave. If it returns, run it again. Think of it as a field drill, not a ritual. Step, catch confidence inflation. The moment, I know what happens next appears, downgraded out loud. I feel a strong familiarity without a source. That tiny shift creates room. You're not breaking the spell by force, you're loosening its grip. Step 1. Label precisely, familiarity without memory. Simple, specific, neutral. Say, this is familiarity without memory. It's a timing glitch. Labels contain experiences. You're not naming fate. You're naming a circuit pattern. The point isn't to be clever. It's to stop your interpreter from spinning a story while the slower system catches up. Step 2. Tactile anchor. Find a cold surface, a textured edge, or a weight you can hold. Thumb the seam on your cup, press your palm to a cool tabletop, or roll a coin. 3 slow breaths. In for 4, out for 6. On each exhale, feel the texture with more detail, ridge, nick, temperature change. Long exhales signal safety. Texture forces sensory data in and prediction out. Step 3. Reality test. 3 verifiable new details. Hunt for what couldn't belong to any previous scene. A tiny paint chip on the door frame. A specific stain pattern on the napkin dispenser. The exact font weight on today's receipt. Speak each one briefly. Blue paint nick above the hinge. Coffee ring shaped like a crescent. Date on receipt, June 12th. You're feeding the recollection engine concrete novelty, so it can stamp new. Step 4. Timestamp. Say the date, the day of the week, the time to the nearest minute, and one unique event from today that couldn't exist before now. It's Tuesday, 10:41 a.m., June 12th. I got a text about rescheduling at 9:08. This isn't positive thinking. It's contextual scaffolding. You're giving the hippocampus temporal anchors it can latch to, which dampens the mismatch. Step 5. Exit ramp. Move your body 10 steps and change your vantage point. Pivot to a different angle. Shift to another table. Step into the doorway and back. Rescan once for 3 fresh details from this new angle. Movement breaks microfreeze, resets vestibular inputs, and slices the storyboard you were building. New angle, new frames, less script. Step 6. Narrate the present, not the future. For 15 seconds, describe exactly what is happening in simple, sensory language. Steam rises in 2 bursts. Grinder hums low. Red jacket zips. Light on the counter flickers. Keep tense in the present. The goal is boredom. The limbic system hates boredom. When it gets bored, arousal drops and the clocks realign. Step 7. Microtask to restore agency. Do one small, purposive action unrelated to checking. Stack 2 napkins, tie a shoelace, draft a 3-word note, sort coins by size. Completion tells your system you steer the next action, even if you can't steer the next external event. Agency, not accuracy, is the lever. When to use it? At the first pressure wave, the lean, the tug, the urge to test. Don't wait for the script to build. Early is easier. If the feeling lingers, cycle steps 2 through 6 once more. Keep it procedural. If you're in a place where speech isn't ideal, whisper or subvocalize. If you're driving, skip the visual scan. Anchor with the steering wheel texture. Name the road markers, timestamp. Then plan a safe pull-off if awareness narrows. What about social settings? You can run a stealth version. Label silently, press A. Ring edge or fabric seam. Find 3 new details in the person's face or environment. Timestamp internally. Then shift your stance and ask one neutral question to rejoin the moment. Social engagement itself is a grounding tool. Conversation forces the present tense. What if the wave spikes into bodily aura? Rising stomach, metallic taste, awareness narrowing. Sit if you can. Safety first. Run the label, tactile anchor, and timestamp. Let the wave pass without prediction tests. Note the clock if possible. Afterward, jot duration, context, and add-ons in a simple log. Patterns, not single episodes, guide decisions. One last reinforcement. Vary the protocol occasionally. Swap the tactile object, change the order of steps, alter the microtask. You're training a flexible brain, not teaching it one escape hatch. The point isn't to never feel déjà again. It's to stop treating a timing error like a prophecy, and to reclaim the next move while the system resynchronizes. Memory engineering, how the brain fakes oldness. To see why your brain can stamp old on what's brand new, we need to watch how it builds shortcuts. Your memory system isn't an archivist, it's an engineer. It trims, compresses, and reuses patterns to save time. Most days that's efficient. On off days, those efficiencies backfire and manufacture oldness. Start with gist versus detail. The brain loves schemas, compact blueprints of how cafes, hallways, or small talk usually go. Schemas carry the gist. Lighting tends warm, grinders hum, orders move left to right. Details, crack in the counter, the barista's sleeve, the exact laugh, are expensive. So perception leans on schemas to guess the scene, while details trickle in. If the schema fits closely enough, familiarity spikes before the specifics arrive. That spike is helpful 9 times out of 10. The 10th becomes déjà. Then there's pattern completion. The hippocampus works like an autofill engine. Give it a fragment, 3 notes of a melody, a whiff of citrus, a cadence, and it proposes the rest of the pattern. In labs, partial cues reliably trigger retrieval of full memories. In life, partial cues can generate a phantom completion that feels right even when it's wrong. Under stress or sleep debt, completion gets bolder. You experience the proposed next beat as if it's remembered, not suggested. That's how the baristas, oat or whole, can feel preordained when all you had was the tone and tempo from some other morning. Rhinal familiarity inflation does its own part. This region tallies feature overlap, angles, textures, faces, fonts. When a new scene shares lots of features with stored exemplars, the old meter rises. You don't have to recognize the source. The meter doesn't care where it came from. It cares how strongly it rhymes. High overlap plus weak recollection equals a loud, source less known. That's Déja's core. Sleep and stress sharpen all of this. During quality sleep, the hippocampus spreads yesterday's specifics into cortex. Poor sleep leaves episodes half-baked, so retrieval slows, and schemas step in more aggressively. Stress pumps noradrenaline and biases the system towards speed and salience. Speed favors gist. Salience favors strong familiarity tags. Together, they widen the timing gap you felt earlier. Familiarity leading, recollection chasing. Zoom into a microstory. You land in a hotel lobby after a red eye. The marble is cream, the plants are rubbery, the bell rings with a brighty note, and a citrus cleaner haze floats. Your system flags high overlap with a dozen other lobbies. Pattern completion proposes the next beats. A concierge tilt, a keycard slide, a left turn to elevators. The proposal arrives as memory, not hypothesis, because sleep loss slowed the recollection check. You don't remember which city, you just feel it's old. That's engineered oldness, not recovered past. Here's the practical implication. Reduce overlap, increase novelty, feed detail. You can't stop the brain from using schemas. That's how you function. But you can lower the false positives. Alter the rhyme. Change one dominant sensory dimension in places that trigger you. Lighting color, scent, or sound. Warm to cool light, add a distinct non-citrus scent. Or wear earbuds with a different ambient track. Less feature overlap, less pararhinal inflation. Force details early. When you enter a new space, pick 3 specifics in the first 5 seconds. The hairline chip on tile 4, the missing screw on the plate cover, the serif style on the restroom sign. Saying them tags the scene with unique anchors before gist takes over. Break the autofill. If you sense pattern completion revving, introduce a micro-novelty. Shift your vantage point by a meter, kneel briefly to change the angle, or touch a surface you normally ignore. New inputs force the hippocampus to recalculate instead of coasting. Sleep like it's a tool. Protect the nights before heavy novelty days. Travel, new jobs, crowded events. Even one solid cycle makes the recollection check snappier and reduces schema overreach. On sleep-poor mornings, pre-commit to description over prediction to compensate. Manage stress timing. Caffeine late, tight deadlines, and social overload tilt the system to speed. Front-load caffeine, build short decompressions, and keep a tactile anchor handy. You're buffering the bias towards salience. There's also fragmentation. Multitasking slices experience into thin strips. Thin strips don't consolidate well, so the next similar strip recruits more schema to glue itself together. You feel déjà more on days filled with half-finished tabs, half-listened conversations, and constant context switches. Monotask blocks, 20 minutes of one thing, produce richer episodes and fewer mislabels later. One more human beat. A traveler keeps feeling déjà visite in European arcades. He starts taking a different first step in each new space. Look up first, find one ceiling quirk, then look down and note a floor imperfection, then scan left for typography. The sequence seeds details before his map system can clone the last arcade. The feeling fades from insistence to curiosity. None of this pathologizes déjà. It just turns mystery into mechanics you can influence. Your brain is a fast engineer. Nudge the inputs, and it will build fewer phantom olds. Environmental triggers and priming. While memory engineering explains how the brain fakes oldness, the room you're in often loads the dice. Environments plant microprimes that push the familiarity meter up before you know it. You don't need a cathedral of sameness, just a few rhymes, and the known clock sprints ahead. Start with microprimes. Music does it quietly. Chord progressions carry emotional fingerprints. AI V6. For progression in the same tempo as last week's café sets the same internal sway. Your ear tags the cadence before lyrics arrive. Lighting temperature nudges too. Warm tungsten at 270K mirrors evening scenes. Cool LED at 400K mimics offices and airports. Your visual system treats color temperature as time of day context. So a mismatch between your internal clock and the room's time can feel like stepping into a scene you remember. Scents are the strongest. A hint of citrus cleaner, plus roasted beans, plus a touch of vanilla, is enough to resurrect a composite that reads familiar even in a brand new place. Then there's layout rhyme. Spatial geometry tricks the map system. 3 equal bays, a central aisle, a counter left of center. Your entorhinal grid cells love repeating angles. When today's shape echoes yesterday's, the map proposes paths with confidence. Visite feels loud because the environment is whispering. We've done this. Add materials, same subway tile, same matte black fixtures, and your pararhinal tally of feature overlap spikes. You don't recognize a building, you recognize a pattern. Context drift stacks on top. Jet lag shifts circadian markers. Fatigue blurs temporal resolution. Caffeine compresses subjective intervals. Put them together, and you've got a speed bias system walking into a high overlap room. That's Déja's favorite habitat. Fast clocks, slow recollection, rich primes. Even your phone participates. Algorithmic repetition trains cadence expectations. Reels with the same sound beds, the same edits, the same fonts. When you step into an offline space that matches those rhythms, bright color pops, quick cuts of motion, a whoosh sound, you feel a wink of, I've seen this. Digital Déjà isn't a metaphor, it's training. So how do you disarm the primes without living in sterile boxes? Hygiene, not avoidance. Diversify your sensory diet. Rotate playlists by chord family, not just genre. If you work in warm light, deliberately switch to neutral white blocks. Build a tiny scent library, wood, herb, mineral, and swap a dab on a scarf or wrist when you enter spaces that often trigger you. One scent difference lowers overlap more than you think. Break geometric echoes. If every cafe you choose has the counter on the left, pick one with a right-hand flow. Sit diagonally across from your default line of sight. Even a 1 meter lateral shift changes the angle set your grid cells encode. Different angles, different map, less insistence. Manage context drift on high novelty days. After long flights or short nights, pre-commit to description, not prediction. Nudge caffeine earlier, and pair it with a slow walk outside to re-anchor your circadian cues. Natural light, horizon distance, ground texture. You're giving the slower system a head start. Untrained digital cadence. Insert novelty sprints into your feeds. Follow accounts with different edit rhythms, languages, and color palettes. That way, your expectation engine doesn't lock to one beat that the world then accidentally matches. Here's a microstory. A commuter keeps catching Déjà in a chain coffee shop near the station. Same bulb warmth, same playlist family, same tiled counter. He switches his entry pattern, earbuds. Off at the door, sniff a dab of cedar oil, glance up at the ceiling first, then down at the floor grout, then left for typography. He orders from the far register and sits with a back-to-window angle instead of the standard wall seat. The feeling doesn't vanish, but it loses authority. His brain can't complete the auto-story because key primes went missing. This mirrors lab findings. Change a few salient cues, and the familiarity meter drops while context retrieval improves. There's a social layer too. Certain voices, catchphrases, and laughter timbers repeat across friend groups and workplaces. A co-worker's "you good?" in the same rhythm as your siblings can fire senti without a scene. If you notice these echoes, tag them neutrally, same cadence as home, and add a present tether. Wearing blue lanyard, window glare on badge. You're respecting the rhyme while anchoring the now. Social primes are potent because the brain tags voices and prosody with emotion. The amygdala's salience vote can arrive before context. Finally, remember, environments aren't out to get you. They're just pattern generators. When you tweak inputs, light, scent, angle, sound, you tilt probabilities. You don't need a perfect setup. 2 or 3 changes are enough to pull familiarity back within tolerance, so recollection can do its job. And when primes stack despite your best hygiene, fall back to the protocol. Label, anchor, new details, timestamp, exit ramp. The clocks will catch up. If you like receipts, this approach aligns with how familiarity, pararhinal/entorhinal, and recollection, hippocampal, systems divide labor in the temporal lobe. Tipping one with novelty helps the other way in. The spiritual trap, past lives, fate, and comfort. Now comes the seductive detour. A moment feels pre-written, you guess the next beat, it lands, and a warm story slides in. I've been here in another life. Or, this is fate lining up. The story works because it patches the gap fast. It gives meaning, identity, and most comforting of all, permission to stop investigating. For a few minutes, anxiety dips. Relief feels like proof. Get why it sticks. Your brain hates unresolved signals. A loud familiarity spike without a source is an itch. A cosmic narrative scratches it clean. Past lives, synchronicity, soul contracts. Each wraps the feeling in purpose. If sorrow echoes, you call it karmic. If joy lifts, you call it destiny. The label turns a mismatch into a belonging. Belonging calms the body. Of course you return to it. There's a second reinforcement, the Barnum effect. Vague, adaptable stories feel intimate when emotion runs high. You're crossing an old threshold, fits any lobby. This connection spans lifetimes, matches any strong déjà vécu with an attractive stranger. Confirmation flows because you're scanning for rhymes that keep the story whole. Dissonant details don't negate fate. They get reframed as tests. The narrative survives every mismatch. Comfort has a cost. The more you lean on fate to explain, the less you practice the skills that de-escalate. Description, disconfirmation, timestamping. Those tools gather dust while the prophecy grows muscles. Soon, Déjà isn't a passing glitch. It's a signal you wait for, feed, and perform around. You predict more, then curate, hits, forgetting the misses. Agency shifts from steering the next action to divining the next scene. Panic may shrink short-term, but dependence grows. Respect the line. Beliefs are part of many lives. If your spiritual frame gives you comfort, you don't have to abandon it. The problem is conflation, treating mechanism as mysticism. When an experience sits in a window that clinicians recognize, minute-long episodes, rising gut, metallic taste, narrowed awareness, calling it destiny blocks help seeking. You're not choosing magic, you're ignoring data. And if the pattern is benign, framing it as cosmic still teaches your body to expect significance where none is needed. Here's a microstory. A traveler gets déjà visite in old cities and decides it's past life memory. She follows the known turns, finds courtyards she predicted, and feels goosebumps. The misses, dead ends, wrong doors, become signs that she's not ready. The frame shields her from anxiety, until the feeling starts arriving in supermarkets and parking garages. Fate can explain a cathedral. It strains around a strip mall. Now she's anxious again, with fewer coping skills than before. What to do instead? Reframe the emotion, not the physics. You can hold metaphysical meaning as a personal story about your values. These moments remind me to notice wonder, and still treat the sensation as data. The key is swapping destiny claims for curiosity. This feels old. What are the rhymes? This feels scripted. Where's confidence inflation? Curiosity lowers arousal without borrowing certainty. Use a simple test when the pull to cosmic is strong. Ask 3 questions. 1. Can I describe the mechanism in neutral terms? Familiarity without source, pattern completion, feature overlap, state shifts like sleep debt. If you can't, you're skipping the foundation. 2. Does this narrative increase or decrease my need to predict? If it increases it, you're feeding the spiral. 3. Does it expand or shrink my next action? If destiny narrows options, I must say this now, go there now. You've traded one cage for another. There's also a social gravity. Communities form around shared interpretations, synchronicity boards, numerology threads, past life regressions. They provide belonging and language, and they nudge you toward the most confirming version of your story. If that belonging helps you feel less alone, keep it. Just add an internal ground rule. Every cosmic frame gets a cognitive counterpart. Angel numbers showed up pairs with my attention bias noticed repeated patterns under stress. 2 truths in parallel. Only one is needed to downshift panic. Respectful boundaries matter when someone you love leans spiritual. You don't win by arguing cosmology. You win by offering tools that work inside any frame. When the oldness hits, can we try describing 3 new details together? If destiny wants this, it won't mind us calming your body first. Calming comes before meaning. Meaning after calm is kinder. Here's where it gets practical. Treat the feeling like weather and the story like clothing. You're allowed to wear what warms you, but you still check the forecast and carry an umbrella. The forecast is your log, frequency, duration, add-ons, awareness. If thresholds trip, you see a clinician. That isn't a betrayal of belief. It's stewardship of a body with circuits that sometimes run hot. A. Last human beat. A barista who once framed his minute-long spells as messages from ancestors now runs the 90-second protocol first, then journals anything meaningful later. He still lights a candle at home and thanks his grandparents. He also sleeps better, keeps caffeine earlier, and knows his neurologist's number. His life got bigger, not smaller. Meaning survived. Panic didn't. Build your own reality test toolkit. You've got the protocol. Now build a toolkit that keeps you out of guesswork and gives you data you can trust. Think of this like tuning a musical instrument. A few simple checks, done consistently, keep the pitch true so you don't overread every note. Start with a baseline journal. Nothing fancy, 3 columns and a quick rating. Column 1, when and where. Column 2, how long it felt strong, in seconds if you can. Column 3, confidence, how sure you felt you knew what happens next, to 10. Add check boxes for add-ons. Rising stomach, metallic taste, heat, tunnel attention, impaired awareness, post-episode fatigue. Jot 1 line about what you were doing. Ordering, texting, walking, scrolling. This isn't a memoir, it's a logbook. 3 weeks of notes will show you trends you can't see in the moment. Build a trigger matrix next. For rows, people, places, sensory, emotions, and 2 quick columns under each. Rhymes and unique. In people, list voices or cadences that repeat, your manager's you good? Tone, and 1 unique counterexample, a colleague with a markedly different rhythm. In places, note layouts that rhyme left-hand counters, long aisles, and 1 place that breaks the pattern. In sensory, write recurring combos, warm light plus citrus cleaner plus mid-tempo playlist, and 1 disruptive scent or lighting shift you can control. In emotions, list internal states that precede episodes, sleep debt, pressure, social overstimulation, and 1 counter state you can add, 10 quiet minutes outside, brisk walk, water. The matrix is a map of levers. You're not avoiding life, you're reducing overlap. Now create disconfirmers. This is the muscle most people skip. You're training your attention to hunt what's new instead of what matches. Build a pre-written list of 10 categories you can scan in any room. Surface imperfections, asymmetries, fonts, serial numbers, timestamps, reflections, shadows, small sounds, micro-movements, and 1 wild card. The rule: when Déjà kicks, you must capture 3 disconfirmers from different categories within 15 seconds. Say them, then write them later. You're building a reflex that starves prediction. Add calibration drills, novelty reps that recalibrate your familiarity gauge. Pick 2 routes you never walk and commit to them twice a week. Carry a microscent, cedar, mint, cardamom, and rotate daily so your nose doesn't anchor to one bias. Do a weekly texture lap at home. Touch 10 different surfaces, eyes closed, and name 3 features of each: ridged, cool, glossy. Once a week, watch 5 minutes of media in a language you don't speak, at normal speed, without captions. These aren't quirks, they're signal cleaners. You're teaching your system to notice detail up front and to tolerate novelty without slapping old on it. Create a monthly review ritual. 10 minutes, same day each month. Count episodes. Mark any clusters, 3 or more in a week. Note any over 60-second stretches. Circle any impaired awareness, add-ons, or witness reports. If clusters appear or a minute-long episode repeats, you move that from personal toolkit to professional eyes. Print thresholds, clusters, duration beyond a minute, impaired awareness. Tape them inside your journal cover. No drama, just rules. Now, build your reality test card. 1 pocket-sized script you can run anywhere, even mid-conversation. Line 1, familiarity without memory. I feel strongly, I don't know. Line 2, disconfirmers. Chip above hinge, serif on sign, date 14th. Line 3, timestamp, Thursday, 2:37 p.m. Emailed Sam at 1:11. Line 4, switch angle, 2 steps right. Line 5, describe present for 10 seconds. Line 6, microtask, align bills by size. The card is your off-ramp when your brain tries to debate fate. Layer in a social buffer. Pick 1 trusted person and explain your plan on a calm day. Give them a 1-sentence cue. I'm doing my 90 seconds. Give them 2 jobs if they're present. Ask you for 3 new details and 1 unique thing from today. If they're on text, they send you a prompt with 4 words. What's new right now? Externalizing breaks rumination and keeps you honest. Add a driving variant. If Déjà hits in a car, skip scanning interior quirks. Keep eyes on the road. Label silently. Anchor with tactile steering wheel texture and pedal pressure. Timestamp allowed. Name 2 road-safe disconfirmers. Mile marker number and the exact text on the next exit sign. If awareness narrows, signal, pull over safely, and let the wave pass. Log later. For work and school, create a page anchor. When Déjà arrives mid-task, write the page number, section title, and 1 unique word from the current paragraph. That's it. This keeps you from losing context and prevents the ritual of rereading the same line for proof. Back at baseline, the anchor gets you moving again without replaying the scene. Finally, schedule curiosity time. 10 minutes a week where you let yourself reflect on episodes without urgency. Ask, what rhymed, what was new, where did confidence inflate, which levers helped fastest? Curiosity is meaning without myth. You're not hunting destiny, you're tuning clocks. Remember the rule that saves most spirals. Swap prediction for description, and collect disconfirmers before you collect beliefs. The story can wait. The data goes first. Red flags and when to seek help. You've got tools, and you've got a log. Now you need thresholds. The line where a quirky timing error deserves professional eyes. Think patterns, not one-offs. We're separating harmless glitches from events that carry safety implications. Start with frequency and clustering. A rare, 10-second Déjà that melts in place? Log it and move on. But if you notice a spike, several episodes in a week, or clusters over days after months of quiet, that's a flag. Brains have noisy weeks, sure, but clustering suggests an excitable patch that's recruiting more often than baseline. Duration next. Most non-clinical Déjà fades under 20 seconds. When episodes regularly push past 30, and especially if they exceed 60 seconds, treat it as data. Longer windows give time for add-ons to appear, which is your next category, bodily accompaniments. The rising elevator in the stomach, a metallic or battery taste, heat spreading up the chest, a smell like hot dust, sudden tunnel attention, sound warping, language going grainy. These autonomic and sensory cues raise suspicion for temporal lobe auras rather than simple familiarity misfires. Awareness matters. If people around you notice you pausing mid-sentence, staring, fumbling words, or making tiny repetitive movements, lip smacks, shirt picking, finger rubbing, and if your own memory for the minute is patchy afterward, that's a different tier. We're no longer talking about an odd label. We're talking about brief changes in awareness layered onto the feeling. Collateral reports help more than you think. Ask one trusted coworker or friend. If I space for 20 seconds, tell me. Witness notes of brief unresponsiveness or confused transitions. Add weight your own recall count. Your log should include a simple seen by others checkbox. Here's a quick rule of thumb card you can carry in your head. Rare and brief, fully aware, no body wave. Breathe, reset log. Clusters in days or weeks, or duration over a minute. Log and plan a medical check. Add-ons plus impaired awareness or post-episode fog. Prioritize evaluation. Safety lives in context. If episodes occur while cooking, near heights, in water, or while driving, act conservatively. Shift tasks, use timers, avoid solo swimming, and pull over if awareness narrows. Precautions aren't an indictment. They're seatbelts while you figure it out. The medical path is straightforward. Start with primary care. Bring your log, dates, durations, add-ons, awareness notes, witness observations. Clear patterns typically lead to a neurology referral. A neurologist may order an EEG to look for epileptiform activity. Sometimes a routine EEG is clean between events. Ambulatory or sleep-deprived EEGs can increase yield. Depending on history, an MRI can check for structural contributors. Many people with temporal lobe auras have normal imaging. Normal doesn't mean nothing's happening. It means the problem is functional, excitability, not a mass. Treatment ranges. For some, tightening sleep, stress management, and stimulant timing reduces events to noise. Others find low-dose anti-seizure medication calms the excitable circuit and restores confidence. The goal isn't labels, it's fewer events, safer routines, more life. Your neurologist will also talk about triggers, sleep loss, alcohol binges, certain medications, and about practical restrictions if needed. These are individualized and often temporary. Myth-busting again. Déjà alone doesn't equal epilepsy. Most healthy people get it, especially when tired or overstimulated. What distinguishes clinical déjà is the company it keeps and the reliability with which it returns. One person's single 60-second episode after an all-nighter is not the same as weekly minute-long spells with rising nausea and awareness narrowing. Patterns guide, not vibes. A brief human beat. The student from the library log notices 3-minute-long spells over 2 weeks, each with the stomach wave, metallic tang, and a blank patch after. A roommate flags a 10-second pause where she doesn't respond to her name. She brings the log to her primary, gets neurology, captures temporal spikes on a sleep-deprived EEG, starts a low dose. Medication and tightens sleep. The spells recede. Finals still happen. Her plan isn't heroic. It's precise. While you wait on appointments, keep using the protocol. The 90-second reset doesn't diagnose. It stabilizes. It also gives clean data, durations, add-ons, responsiveness, that clinicians can use. If you're ambivalent about medication, say so. Shared decisions work best with specifics. Frequency, safety contexts, side effect tolerances, life priorities. One last guardrail, avoid absolutes. Don't promise yourself, never again. Promise yourself, I'll notice earlier and act sooner. That mindset keeps agency and prevents the spiral of perfectionism. Miss one early sign, and you're not back to zero. You're still steering. Your brain is allowed to be noisy. Your job is to know when noise is just noise, and when the pattern asks for help. If thresholds trip, you don't need a philosophy. You need a phone call and your log. Training the system. Habits that recalibrate time tags. You've got tools for the moment. Now we train the baseline so the clocks drift less often. Think of this as lowering the gain on the familiarity meter and speeding the recollection check. Quieting false alarms before they start. Start with sleep architecture. Consistent sleep isn't a wellness slogan here. It's literal timestamp maintenance. Aim for stable anchors. Same wake time within 30 minutes, 7 days a week. Protect the last hour before bed. Dim light, low screens, predictable wind down. Give slow-wave sleep room to run by front-loading heavy meals and alcohol earlier, keeping caffeine away from the afternoon, and cooling your room a couple degrees. If nights were choppy, plan a compensatory anchor the next morning. Early outdoor light for 10 minutes, move your body, and say the date aloud. You're telling the hippocampus, we're on a steady clock. Add a stress downshift routine. Stress biases speed and salience, so build a daily break that your body recognizes. 3 ingredients, 15 minutes total. Breath, movement, and release. Breath, 2 rounds of 6 slow exhales, each at least 6 seconds. Movement, a brisk 10-minute walk or light cycle. Rhythmic, not maximal. Release, 30 seconds of progressive muscle tensing and letting go, head to toe. Pick consistent times, after lunch or before commute home, so your nervous system expects the downshift. On spiky days, run a 1-minute micro version. 2 slow exhales, shoulder roll, jaw release. Layer in sensory cross-training. Déjà rides feature overlap. Variety lowers overlap probability. Schedule nature hours, weekly. Trees, water, dirt paths. Because fractal variety recalibrates visual and auditory systems differently than urban repetition. Build a texture palette at home. A rough stone, a satin ribbon, a knurled metal cap, a cork square. Once a day, eyes closed, handle 3 objects and name 2 features each. Start a scent library, cedar, mint, cardamom, soil, and rotate 1 scent on a scarf morning and afternoon. You're widening the system's vocabulary, so it's less eager to stamp old. Protect focus sprints. Multitasking shreds episodes into thin slices the brain struggles to index. Thin slices invite schema to overreach later. Do 2 monotask blocks a day, 25 minutes each. 1 input stream, 1 goal, phone face down, notifications off. Open with a 3-line episode tag in your notes. Date, start time, and a unique sentence about the task. Close with a 2-line exit tag. What you finished and the first next step. These tags become anchors your recollection system can find quickly. The next time you enter a similar context, it recognizes specifics, not just gist. Tweak diet and stimulants for signal clarity. Caffeine is a precision instrument. Use it early, same window daily, and pair it with food to blunt jitters. If you're a multiple cup person, set a hard cutoff, say noon, and replace late cups with temperature-based anchors. Sparkling water on ice, peppermint tea. Hydration matters more than it sounds. Mild dehydration raises perceived effort and narrows attention, which biases prediction. Alcohol compresses REM and fragments consolidation. If you drink, protect at least 2 alcohol-free nights before heavy novelty days. Add vestibular and proprioceptive calibration. Your sense of where you are in space flows into time feeling linear or jumpy. 2 or 3 times a week, do simple balance and head movement drills. Stand on 1 leg near support. Turn your head left-right for 10 slow counts. Heel-to-toe walk, eyes scanning horizon, gentle figure-8 head motions. These are small, but they reduce the frame stutter sensation when stress hits. Practice deliberate novelty. Pick a weekly micro-adventure. A new route, a different grocery aisle order, a museum lunch break, a foreign bakery. Before you enter, pre-commit to 3 details in the first 5 seconds and 1 novelty action. A left-hand door instead of right, a different counter. Your training. Quick detail capture and flexible response. Set up state pre-commits for vulnerable windows. Travel days, deadlines, social marathons. Write a 1-sentence rule you follow regardless of mood. I'll narrate 3 details before any prediction. I'll switch vantage point on entry. No caffeine after 10 a.m. Tape it to your wallet or home screen. Pre-commits beat in the moment bargaining. Use social entrainment. Pick 1 person as a calibration buddy. Once a week, take a 10-minute sensory walk. No phones, trade turns naming specifics. Shadow angle on mailbox. Diesel note under the bus hum. Cool patch in the breeze. Social attention keeps it fun and sticky, and the brain encodes shared episodes more richly. Build a weekly reset block. 30 minutes where you do 3 things. Clean your workspace, visual novelty, rotate a scent object, olfactory novelty, and refresh your disconfirmer list, attention novelty. Add a small rearrangement. Swap lamp sides, change chair angle 5 degrees. Subtle? Yes, but subtle shifts accumulate into fewer pattern clones. Train language habits that lower confidence inflation. Swap, I know for, I feel strongly. Swap, it will for it might. End predictions with a question mark in your head. This isn't semantics. It's a metacognitive nudge that leaves the door open for recollection to weigh in. Finally, treat lapses like weather, not failure. Miss sleep, get a spike? You run the protocol, then you run the plan. Earlier caffeine, outdoor light, a focus sprint, and an early downshift. You're not fixing a broken brain, you're maintaining timing equipment. As the habits settle, Déjà still visits, but it shows up like a gust, not a storm. And it passes while you keep steering. Real-life scenarios. Money, love, work. Let's make this concrete, so you can use it today. 3 domains. Money, love, work. Same loop, different costumes. Money first. Classic bypass line. I'm calling in abundance. Translation. I'm scared to look. Run the loop. Step 1, label bypass, swap to contact. I feel dread and shame. I need data. Step 2, 90-second regulate. Breathe 4 to 6, orient, feel feet. Step 3, emotion and need. Fear in chest, shame in belly. Need is clarity plus a small plan. Step 4, 1-inch repair. Open statements and categorize the last 10 transactions. Transfer $25 to savings. Write one clarifying question for your bank or partner. The point isn't a perfect budget. It's getting your brain a cause and effect hit. Relief arrives from receipts, not crystals. Micro story. A client was sure money would flow when aligned. We ran the loop twice a week. Her 1-inch moves. Friday invoice block, 10 categories max, and a buddy ping. 30 days later, her anxiety dropped because numbers replaced nightmares. The manifestation came from emails sent, not journals filled. Love next. The bypass here wears conscious language. You'll hear, I choose peace, while your partner is asking for repair, or your trigger is your work, when you broke an agreement. Run the loop in real time. Step 1, label bypass, swap. I feel shame and fear. I need repair. Step 2, quick regulate, breathe, orient feet. Step 3, contact. I feel shame in my chest and fear in my throat. Need emerges. Ownership and a specific change request. Step 4, 1-inch repair line you can say today. I did X. It impacted you Y. My next step is Z. Does that help? Keep it short. Then add a boundary or request if needed. I want to keep talking, and I need us to slow down and take turns. 2 scripts that land. Apology. I raised my voice. That scared you. I'm taking a 5-minute reset, and then I'll stay with the conversation without escalating. Boundary repair. Late night texts keep me on edge. No texts after 10. I'll answer next day. If you text late, I'll respond tomorrow. Micro story. A student used to say, I'm not available for low-vibe conflict. We swapped to, I'm defensive and I want to repair. I need 5 minutes to regulate. Then I'll listen and respond. Arguments that took 2 hours shrank to 20 minutes because ownership replaced performance. Now work. The costume here is purpose covering procrastination. Bypass lines sound like, I'm waiting for inspiration, or corporate energy drains my soul. Run the loop. Step 1, label and swap. I feel dread. I need structure. Step 2, regulate, breathe, orient feet. Step 3, contact. Fear in ribs, shame in cheeks. Need is a tiny plan and a visible win. Step 4, 1-inch repair with a calendar anchor. Write a 3-bullet outline, send a status update, book a 15-minute focus block with a timer, or ask one clarifying question that unblocks the task. Use if/then. If it's 2 p.m., then I send a 2-sentence status to my manager. Proof of done calms your system and rebuilds trust. Work apology template that earns credibility fast. I missed Tuesday's deadline. That put pressure on you. I can deliver Thursday by 4, and will send daily 9 a.m. updates until complete. No fluff, just reality and a safeguard. Here's a quick wins checklist you can screenshot and run this week. Money. Open statements. Categorize 10 transactions. Transfer $25 to savings or debt. Send one overdue invoice or payment. Write one budget question for clarity. Love. Ownership line. I did X. It impacted you Y. Next step Z. Boundary text with consequence you'll keep. Ask for the specific data you need. Tell me exactly what I did that hurt. Co-regulate request. Stay with me while I breathe for 1 minute. Work. 2-sentence status update sent at a set time. 3-bullet outline created and timestamped. 1 unblocked question sent to the right person. 15-minute timer block with visible output. Student wins after shifting from bypass to repair are boring and beautiful. 1 client paid 2 small debts and slept through the night for the first time in months. Another apologized in 1 sentence, listened, and got a hug instead of a standoff. A manager who hated micromanagement began sending daily check-ins. His team relaxed because reality replaced mystery. The pattern is the same: contact then action. Each 1-inch move compiles evidence your nervous system trusts. That's how confidence grows and anxiety shrinks. The 30-day reset plan. You've got the loop. Now we'll stack it for 30 days, so it becomes your default. We'll cycle focus each week, keep daily reps tiny, and measure progress with boring, visible metrics. The goal isn't perfection, it's compounding honesty and repair. Week 1, spotting. Your only job is awareness without drama. Each day, run a 5-minute version of the loop to catch your top bypass lines in the wild. Use a simple card. Cliché, future fixation. Blame shift, superiority. Put a tick next to whatever shows up. End by writing one replacement sentence. I feel X and I need Y. That's it. No pressure to act big yet. We're training your attention to hear the costume. Week 2, regulating. Keep the 5-minute spot, then add a 2-minute nervous system reset. Use the 4 to 6 breath, orient to 5 objects, and check the feet and breath metric. If you can't feel both, repeat once. You're building a body-first reflex, so your brain has range when it's time to choose. Track it with a simple yes/no. Feet felt? Breath steady. Green if yes, yellow if repeat, red if you bailed. Greens accumulate confidence. Week 3, feeling. Keep the first 2 steps, then add the 2-minute name, locate, allow triad daily. Label one core emotion, find it in your body, allow 60 seconds. Write one line about the need that emerges. We're not chasing revelations, we're collecting clear signals. If you find yourself searching for meaning, write meaning later, and return to the need sentence. Week 4, repairing. Now you'll close the loop every day with a 1-inch move. Choose an action that takes 10 minutes or less, you fully control, and produces a visible receipt. Send the ownership line, categorize 10 transactions, schedule a call, or draft the boundary text and hit send. Use if/then time anchors so mood can't veto. If it's 4 p.m., then I take the 1-inch step. Daily cadence, all 30 days. The 10-minute loop at a set time. Pick a consistent anchor, after coffee, lunch, or before shutdown. Consistency beats intensity. If you miss a day, don't make a speech. Shrink the next day to 5 minutes and get a green check. Momentum loves small wins. Once a week, do a deeper 30-minute session. Stretch regulation to 5 minutes. Map emotions for 2 live issues and do 2 1-inch repairs. End with a brief reflection. What pattern did I see? What swap sentence worked best? What repair had the biggest impact? Metrics that actually show change. Apology count. Number of ownership messages sent this week. Budget touches. Number of times you opened and categorized transactions. Sleep consistency. Nights you hit your win-down boundary. Conflict duration. Average time from rupture to first repair attempt. Loop streak. Consecutive days you ran the 10-minute loop. Aim for trend, not perfection. If apology count goes from 0 to 2, that's movement. If conflict duration shrinks by 30 minutes, that's impact your nervous system can feel. Accountability options. Level 1. Buddy pings. Text loop done, with a screenshot of 1 receipt. Max once per day. Level 2. Therapist or coach. Bring your weekly grid and practice clean ownership lines and boundary scripts. Level 3. Small group. 3 people. Weekly 20-minute call. Each shares 1 bypass tell, 1 repair action, 1 stuck spot. Reward system. Celebrate boring. Every day you complete the loop, do a tiny ritual. Step outside for 1 minute, play 1 song, or mark a bold X on your calendar. Weekly, give yourself a small, wholesome treat only if you logged 5 or more loops. Nice coffee, solo walk, new pen. Rewards wire your brain to repeat. What if you hit a wall? Use the reset. Reduce to 3 minutes for 2 days. Label bypass. Breathe 4 to 6 twice. Take a 90-second 1-inch action, like drafting the ownership line without sending. Day 3. Return to 10 minutes. If shame flares, speak the line. Protective part, thanks, I've got it. Then act at 60% settled. By day 30, expect quieter catastrophizing, faster repairs, clearer money choices, and less performative calm. Spiritual practice will feel more like scaffolding than a shield. The identity shift won't be flashy, it'll be sturdy. I'm someone who tells the truth and takes small, real steps. That's resilience you can trust. Reclaiming spirituality without avoidance. Let's reclaim the point of spirituality. It's not an escape hatch, it's a capacity builder. Real spirituality widens your window to face what's true, repair what you can, and live aligned with your values. If a practice helps you tell the truth faster and take smaller, kinder actions sooner, it belongs. If it helps you look away, it's costume. Start with a working definition you can feel. Spirituality is sustained contact with reality, meaning, and values, especially under stress. Contact means you can name what's happening in you and around you without flinching. Meaning is the story you integrate after you've repaired, not before. Values are the behaviors you repeat when it's inconvenient. Practices that deepen contact are simple. Contemplative prayer that includes reality testing. Here's what's true, here's who I want to be, here's one step I'll take. Nature walks with a repair check at the end. What's one conversation I'm moving toward today? Service that follows ownership. I apologized, now I'll show up for my neighbor's need. These don't inflate your image, they strengthen your spine. Here's the shortcut nobody teaches. Integrate meaning after repair. The sequence matters. Contact, regulate, feel, repair, then reflect. When you add meaning too early, you minimize pain and dodge action. When you reflect after repair, the insight lands in your nervous system as earned, not imagined. You remember it because your body got the receipt. Values clarification tightens this. Write 3 values you want your spiritual life to express under pressure. Honesty, courage, compassion, for example. For each, choose one behavior you'll do weekly that proves it. Honesty, a clear ownership line every time you miss. Courage, one hard ask or boundary stated by Thursday. Compassion, one act of service after you repair at home. If you can't see it on a calendar or in a message thread, it's a wish, not a value. Let me show you exactly how to keep spirituality as scaffolding, not a shield. Bookend your practices around action. Before, regulate and set one concrete intention. After this sit, I'll send the repair text. Practice, meditate, pray, breathe, walk. After, act within 15 minutes. This timing trains your brain that spiritual energy moves into reality, not away from it. What about manifestation? Use it as a planning mindset. Vision plus constraint equals integrity. I'm calling in stable income becomes, I'll pitch 3 prospects this afternoon and review offers Friday. Gratitude? Use it to expand capacity, not erase hurt. I'm grateful for this job, and I'm asking for a workload adjustment because I'm burning out. Breathwork? Keep it in step 2 of the loop, state before story, then move toward contact and repair. Community matters. You need people who prize repair over purity. Healthy groups normalize tears, honor boundaries, and measure growth by behavior, not brand of enlightenment. Red flags. High vibe only rules, leaders who discourage direct repair between members, and purity contests about who's most surrendered. If the group language makes accountability sound like scarcity, step back. Your nervous system knows when it's being asked to perform calm. A simple litmus test for any spiritual practice. Does this increase honesty, responsibility, and repair? Ask it out loud. If the answer is yes, keep going. If the answer is maybe later, redesign the practice. Add a 1-inch action at the end. If the answer is no, retire it for a season. You're allowed to outgrow tools that used to help. Microstory. A client loved long morning meditations and kept missing hard conversations. We kept the sit, added a 2-minute intention, and required a single phone call within 15 minutes. He still felt spacious, and now his relationships started healing. His spiritual life got lighter because his real life got cleaner. If you remember nothing else here, remember this. Spirituality that helps you face reality and repair is nourishment. Spirituality that helps you avoid is numbing. Tie every practice to a concrete step, and your soul feeling will match your life looking. That's integrity you can trust. Checkpoints. If you remember nothing else, here are the anchors. Bypass is avoidance in a spiritual costume. It sounds wise and feels relieving for a minute, but it dodges specifics, ownership, and action. If you hear yourself using airy language to skip contact, you're in the costume. Feelings first, story second, repair always. Regulate your body, make clean contact with the emotion and the need, then take one grounded step. Your brain learns safety from receipts, not rhetoric. If you're debating the story while your chest is tight, loop back to breathing and feet. 1-inch moves beat grand plans. Choose the smallest step you fully control that reduces harm today. 10 minutes, observable proof, done. Big visions inspire. Tiny integrity changes your life. Calm isn't healing. Contact plus repair is. Numb and quiet can be freeze. Aim for 60% settled, then act. Action finishes the regulation better than chasing perfect serenity. Community beats isolation. Borrow nervous systems that honor tears, boundaries, and boring repair. If a space asks you to perform purity instead of practice ownership, that's your cue to step away. Use these prompts when you're stuck. Label bypass. Swap to, I feel X and I need Y. Breathe 4 to 6 for 5 rounds. Find 5 objects. Feel your feet. Name, locate, allow for 60 seconds. State one need. Take one action you can complete in 10 minutes. Show proof. Ask, did this increase honesty and repair? Adjust if not. If you remember nothing else, remember this sequence. Name, regulate, feel, repair, then meaning. Tie every spiritual practice to one concrete step, and watch your relief come from reality. That's how resilience compounds. Implementation sprint. Do it now. Choose one live issue right now. Money, love, or work. Say bypass. If you hear a cliche, then swap. I feel X and I need Y. Run the 2-minute reset. Breathe 4 to 6 for 5 rounds. Orient to 5 objects. Feel your feet. Name 2 sensations. Name, locate, allow for 60 seconds. Ask, what would help me feel 10% safer or more honest today? Write one sentence a friend could act on. Draft the one repair action that takes 10 minutes or less and you fully control. Send the ownership line. Categorize 10 transactions, schedule a consult, or state a boundary with a consequence you'll keep. Create a visible receipt, screenshot, timestamp, or calendar block, and text it to a buddy. Loop done. Replace your top bypass line with a clean script you'll use this week. I trust the universe. I feel fear. I'm emailing 2 prospects by 3 p.m. I choose peace. I feel shame. I'm apologizing with a next step. Abundance is coming. I'm invoicing at 4 p.m. Proof attached. Set a 7-day streak. Same 10-minute loop daily, tied to a time anchor. If you miss, do a 3-minute microloop within 24 hours. Relief comes from receipts. Long-term payoff, the compounding effect. Here's what stacks when you loop daily. Trust in yourself grows because predictions update. Feeling plus action equals safety. Shame shrinks as ownership becomes routine. Relationships stabilize. Ruptures shorten. Repairs start sooner. And language gets simpler. Money clarity improves. Numbers replace nightmares. And small transfers build proof. Anxiety eases because your system gets reliable evidence that you can act under stress. Spiritual life feels grounded instead of performative. Practice bookends repair. Meaning comes after action, not before. Identity shifts from perform calm to do tiny integrity. You'll notice you ask for data instead of spinning stories. You set boundaries cleanly, and you sleep better because incomplete loops close faster. After 30 days, people experience you as honest, available, and steady. Not because you became fearless, but because you act at 60% settled. That compounding is resilience. Real healing is simple. Name what's true, regulate your body, feel the core emotion, and take one grounded repair action. That's how relief comes from reality, not from ritual. Run the 10-minute loop today, and start the 30-day reset. Subscribe for deeper modules on nervous system regulation, apologies that land, and values work, and watch next, the self-sabotage pattern hiding inside boundaries. End the video and act. Your receipt beats one more insight. Cognitive reframes that stick. We've tuned the hardware, now we retrain the narrator. The goal isn't optimism. It's accuracy under pressure, language and frames that keep you steering while the clocks resync. Start with the hinge, from omen to artifact. When the surge hits, swap this means something, for my familiarity module is loud today. That phrasing isn't dismissive, it's descriptive. It takes the event out of prophecy and puts it in process. You're not arguing with the feeling. You're naming the source so your interpreter stops shopping for destiny. Next, the probability reset. Strong feeling does not equal high truth value. The mind sneaks in a shortcut. High intensity must mean high certainty. Replace I know this with I feel this strongly. The probability is unknown. Say it out loud if you can. That single sentence severs the pipeline from intensity to conviction. The moment you reclaim probability, prediction pressure drops. Expand agency by shrinking the horizon. Déjà vécu tempts you to call the next 10 beats. That's where panic hides. Reframe to the smallest control you actually have, the next action. I choose my next 10 seconds. Then do something simple on purpose. Stand, sip, stack, step. Agency returns in increments. 10 seconds of steering is enough for the physiology to settle. Social buffer beats private rumination. Tell one trusted person your exact script. Sometimes I get familiarity without memory. If you notice me zoning, ask me for 3 new details and 1 unique thing from today. The reframe here is subtle. Shared attention is a tool, not proof that you need rescuing. Outsourcing one prompt prevents the loop of self-checking that turns noise into a story. Meaning without myth is a durable stance. You're allowed to want significance. Swap fate for curiosity. This surge is data. What rhymed? What was new? Where did confidence inflate? Curiosity is a downshift that preserves wonder without demanding a verdict. It keeps you at the lab bench instead of on the altar. Build micro-mantras that are mechanical, not magical. 3 lines you can carry anywhere. Familiarity without memory. Describe the present. Choose the next action. They're boring on purpose. Boredom is the point. It starves the limbic theater that sells the script. Reframe time. In the surge, it feels like the past leaking forward. Try this. This is present trying to organize itself. That turns the feeling from a haunting into a housekeeping step. Organization takes time. You're giving it that time without adding plot. Treat prediction as a symptom, not a task. When the urge to test rises, will the mug clink? Will the door chime? Tag it. Prediction urge detected. Then redirect to description. 2 notes from the grinder. Blue paint nick. Date on receipt. You're not suppressing the urge, you're reassigning it. The system that wants to forecast gets a job cataloging now. Language hacks matter. Swap absolutes for gradations. Always becomes often. Never becomes rarely. End declarative thoughts with a silent question mark. This will happen next. That tiny hook invites the slower recollection system to weigh in before your interpreter files a claim. Give fear a specific job. Anxiety tries to be a general manager. Make it a lookout. Fear, alert me if I'm near heat, heights, stoves, or traffic. Everything else, it can stand down. Specificity shrinks global threat and preserves genuine safety. Reframe setbacks as latency, not failure. If a wave spikes despite your steps, say, latency is longer today. That protects the habit from all or nothing thinking. You didn't blow it. The system needs more cycles. You run the steps again. Latency shortens tomorrow. Apply the double entry method to meaning. When a cosmic frame pops up, this was meant. Write 2 columns. Story on the left, mechanism on the right. Meant sits opposite feature overlap plus sleep debt. You can keep both on paper. Only the right column decides behavior in the moment. Rehearse reframes in calm states. Speak them once daily when nothing's happening. Familiarity without memory. Strong feeling, probability unknown. Describe, don't predict. Practice gives the phrases traction under load. You don't rise to the occasion, you fall to your training. Close with a microstory. A designer felt Déjà vécu before client calls and made it a sign to gamble. Change layouts last second. Wins felt fated, misses felt cursed. She swapped fate for mechanics. Labeled the surge, described 3 details, chose 1 small action she could finish before the call. Calls got steadier. The feeling still visits, but now it's an artifact she logs, not a command she obeys. Frames don't erase Déjà. They keep you from feeding it. With clean language, the clocks realign faster, and the room goes back to being just a room while you decide what to do next. Case studies. Harmless glitch versus clinical pattern. Case A starts small. A student in her 2nd year, sleep debt. Stacked from studio deadlines. Gets 10-second snaps twice in 1 week. Coffee line, hallway chat. Each time the urge to predict flickers, then fades. She logs. 8 out of 10 confidence for 5 seconds. No rising stomach, no metallic taste, no awareness narrowing. She runs the 90-second reset. Label, tactile anchor, 3 disconfirmers, time stamp, exit ramp, and notices a pattern. Episodes appear after 2 nights of 4 hours sleep and heavy afternoon caffeine. She shifts her wake time earlier, front-loads coffee, and adds 2 25-minute monotask blocks to reduce fragmentation. She also swaps her usual warm-lit cafe for a neutral white library corner. A week later, the snaps drop to 1, then none. She keeps the log going another month. Nothing clusters. Her takeaway is simple. Harmless misfires love poor sleep and high overlap. Lower the overlap, protect sleep, and the familiarity lead shrinks. No neurology visit, no drama, but the data stays in her back pocket. Case B is a barista who keeps a notebook in his apron. His entries read differently. Thursday 7:42 a.m. Déjà surge, 70 seconds. Rising stomach at 15 seconds. Metallic tang by 20, language grainy, tunnel attention. Coworker says I paused mid-sentence. 3 similar notes appear across 2 weeks, each with durations over a minute and a brief post-episode fog. He's tempted to call it fate. Rush hour always feels charged, but he's been tracking honestly. He makes a primary care appointment, brings the log, and lands with a neurologist. A sleep-deprived EEG shows temporal spikes. MRI is clean. He starts a low-dose anti-seizure med, tightens sleep, moves caffeine to the first hour only, and keeps using the 90-second protocol when small waves appear. The long spells vanish. He returns to the same counter and same playlist without treating them as omens. His story isn't a scare, it's a clear pattern crossing thresholds, clusters, duration over 60 seconds, add-ons, observed awareness change, leading to precise help. Case C belongs to a traveller who writes city names down the margins of his journal. Lisbon, Nice, Thessaloniki, each with the note visite. He steps into covered arcades and feels the map preloaded. Left, right, stair, courtyard. No rising stomach, no metallic taste, no awareness change. He treats it as a game, predict, walk, tally hits, until the urgency creeps in. He watches a few spirals start, catches confidence inflation, and swaps prediction for description. Then he adds environment hygiene, looks up first for ceiling quirks, notes one floor imperfection, and chooses the non-default first turn. He changes scent, cedar on a scarf, and varies light by wearing a cap brim to alter angle. The certainty downgrades to curiosity. His entries shift to visite, low confidence, no urge to test. The feeling becomes a travel companion with manners, not a director with orders. Between those three, the lesson is the same: categorize, test, escalate when thresholds trip. Vécu with high prediction urge and body waves asks for immediate description and careful logging. Senti without scene asks for precise effect labels and a tether to the now. Visite invites a map hypothesis. Test gently, then inject novelty. Across all, intensity, duration, awareness, and confidence are your gauges. High confidence is the accelerant. When it spikes, your first move is to downgrade. I feel strongly, and feed details. There's a quieter case that lives in the grey. A teacher with occasional Déjà in staff meetings logs 5-second snaps every month or two, all fully aware, no add-ons. Then a stressful quarter hits, and she notes 3 in 1 week, each around 40 seconds, with heat rising at the chest but no metallic taste, no tunnel perception. She calls it a cluster in the log, runs the protocol early and often, and tightens sleep and caffeine timing. The cluster resolves. She schedules primary care anyway, gets reassurance, and agrees on a watchful waiting plan with clear return thresholds. Any minute-long episode, any impaired awareness, any witness concern. The plan itself lowers her baseline arousal. The next semester is quiet. To keep it human, return to the overlooked predictor from earlier, the confidence meter. In each case, the hinge wasn't the feeling, it was the certainty about what would happen next. The student learned to get bored on command. The barista turned fate into a phone call and a pill. The traveller treated his inner map as a hypothesis, not a destiny. That's the separation line you need. When confidence inflates, step off the script, describe the room, and choose the next 10 seconds. The rest can be figured out with a pen, a log, and, when patterns earn it, professional eyes. The overlooked predictor, confidence inflation. Here's the quiet hinge we've been circling. Not the feeling, but the certainty that rides it. When Déjà hits, your brain doesn't just say, "This feels old." It says, "I know what happens next." That leap, from sensation to certainty, is the accelerant. The stronger the subjective, "I know," the faster panic recruits, the more the body gears up, and the tighter the storyboard illusion snaps into place. Why does confidence climb so fast? Because prediction is metabolically cheap and emotionally rewarding. Your timing system loves when intention appears to precede outcome. If you think, "The door chime now," and a chime lands within a beat, your interpreter backfills causality and upgrades belief. It's a tiny win, and wins reinforce certainty. In Déjà Vécu, those micro-wins stack in seconds. 3 hits, and you're not just sensing familiarity. You're carrying a script you feel responsible to follow. Under the hood, high confidence correlates with deeper limbic engagement. Arousal sharpens salience. Salience amplifies the familiarity signal. And the more loud the signal, the more your metacognitive layer mistakes volume for accuracy. Intensity bleeds into conviction. Meanwhile, recollection is still loading in the background, too slow to counter the headline your interpreter already published. So you need a wrench that fits the bolt. Don't wrestle the feeling. Downgrade the certainty. Swap "I know" for "I feel strongly that." That 5-word detour seems trivial. It isn't. It takes the pressure off the prediction system and buys milliseconds for the slower recollection check to arrive. Language is a lever on physiology. When certainty steps back a notch, arousal follows. Here's how to deploy it in the wild, before the loop tightens. Catch the phrase. The instant. I know what happens next sparks say. Out loud if you can. I feel a strong familiarity without a source. That's step 0 in your protocol for a reason. It pries open space. Swap prediction for description. Your brain wants to forecast. Give it a job that burns that energy without feeding the script. 10 seconds, 3 present facts, 1 time stamp. You're not arguing. You're redirecting. Add a friction move. Do one small, pointless physical action that interrupts the motor plan linked to your prediction. Switch the pen from right hand to left. Place the cup on the opposite side. Take 2 steps back instead of forward. Friction breaks the covert rehearsal your body started when certainty rose. Pair language with texture. Confidence lives in the head. Texture lives in the hand. Thumb a seam. Feel a ridge. Name 2 microfeatures. You're telling your system, we're in data, not destiny. Watch where confidence hides. It often piggybacks on hits you don't even register as misses. You knew the barista would say, next, and she did. You didn't notice she used a different tone, or that the grinder coughed between orders, or that someone cut the line. The interpreter cherry picks. To debias, you must deliberately collect mismatches. Make it a tiny sport. For every hit, find 2 new details that veto the oldness claim. A human beat. A software engineer logs his episodes and notices a pattern. His worst spirals happen when he nails 2 micro-predictions in a row. He adds 1 rule. After any double hit, he must find 3 disconfirmers and perform 1 friction move. Swap mouse hands for 5 seconds. His confidence meter drops from 9 out of 10 to 5 out of 10 within 20 seconds. The feeling still runs, but the engine doesn't redline. Fold confidence checks into daily language, not just crisis moments. Replace "this will happen" with "this might happen" in emails and texts. Add question marks to your internal monologue. The door will chime? Small habits blunt the reflex to treat intensity as certainty. So when a surge arrives, the downgrade is automatic. And test it socially. If you're with someone who knows your plan, ask them to prompt the downgrade. A simple cue, strong feeling. Unknown probability, can cut the urge to perform the script out loud. Social mirrors sharpen metacognition. Hearing your own downgrade said back to you locks it in. Finally, log confidence like a vital sign. Don't just record duration and add-ons. Rate your certainty from 1 to 10 at the peak. Over a month, you'll see the clearest predictor of spiral isn't length, it's certainty. On high confidence days, preempt with description before prediction even shows up. On low confidence days, you can let the wave pass with minimal intervention. The point isn't to neuter intuition. It's to keep a feeling from impersonating knowledge. When confidence inflates, your world narrows to a tunnel where only the script matters. When you downgrade, the room widens again. The clocks get a chance to sync, the storyboard softens, and what's left is just now, and your next ordinary choice. Name the glitch, downgrade the certainty, choose the next action. Do that, and the room stops lying to you. If you want the pocket protocol card, the tracking template, and deep dives on DPDR and memory glitches, subscribe and watch the next episode in this series. It links Déjà to derealization and panic with real cases and tools. Share this with someone who calls. Déjà vu fate, then compare notes after your next wave. Quick housekeeping. If you spot any decade mentions, we use the standard format, e.g., 1940s, 1960s. We've also aligned examples with clinical literature. Huglings-Jackson's 1888 dreamy state. Higher Déjà prevalence in temporal lobe epilepsy is almost equal to 19.6% versus is almost equal to 3%. And intracranial stimulation studies showing rhinal cortex-driven familiarity.